Hi everybody, Yusef here, and today we're going to be counting down the top 6 scare zones at Halloween Horror Nights 29 in Orlando. Now, I realize that if you were to look at the map of the event, you'll only see 5 scare zones, but there are actually 6 if you count the Chainsaw Crew. Granted, this is just my opinion based on my experience with the scare zones and what I ended up thinking about them. Well, I guess that's my cue. Let's get started. Coming in at number 6, we have An Arcade. When this zone was announced, I was so excited. What a disappointment. This zone felt rushed and slapped on with this theme at the last minute. Now, I will admit that some of the effects were cool, including the arcade machines and the music mixed in with video game sounds, and some of the character design was interesting and visually impressive. However, some of the other costumes just felt lazy, and it seemed that they had been repurposed from the Purge scare zones with a neon coat of paint just slapped into it. A big issue that I had with the zone as well was its lack of scares and really a defining quality. Something that I think would have definitely made this zone more interesting would have been maybe some more set pieces and maybe a revamped character design. Number 5, we have Zombieland Double Tap. The zone also had a lot of potential and a lot of it felt wasted to me. The weakest part is the lack of scare actors. For it being the zombie apocalypse, I didn't really encounter a lot of zombies. The zone could have benefited from a bunch more zombies. Now, what zombies we did have were amazing and varied in design, and each performer gave it their all and went out of their way to make each zombie have a specific identity. Another big issue I had was that the zone was a lot more fun to watch than to actually walk through. Most of the zombies were crowded around the entrance to the houses and could have been a bit more spread out. I was definitely a fan of the sets and props. I do love that they were ripped straight from the movie and that a lot of the performers interacted with them in a pretty cool way. I would have to say though, my favorite part would have to be the guest interaction. Looking at you, porta potty. Coming in at number 4, we have the trusty Chainsaw Horde by the Simpsons area. Without a doubt, the absolute best part of this scare zone was the scare actors. They made the zone a blast to walk through and to experience. My interactions with the cast definitely left me with a big smile on my face, and a particularly fun interaction was the scare actor who would incorporate chainsaw jokes like sneezing and saying chainsaw, or randomly yelling chainsaw sound! Some of the costume design was a little bit weak and the music wasn't really memorable, it barely was there, but I still had a fun time walking around the zone and seeing people run scared when the chainsaw was reffed. I mean, the Chainsaw Horde is an absolute classic and I was very happy to see it come back. It's simple, it's scary, and it's extremely effective. Coming in at number 3, we have Vikings Undead. I was a huge fan of this zone and I loved walking through and admiring all of the little details and sets. The makeup work and costumes were incredible and the set pieces were a blast. My personal favorite would have to be the victim getting his back worked on by the chiropractor. Shows that Universal really does have your back. The theming here was great and the Viking aspect was a great addition to the awesome lineup that this section of the park has. Number 2, we have Vanity Ball. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a huge fan of the scare zone at first, but it grew on me and I actually ended up loving it. I thought the theming was incredible and I loved the entire concept of surgical operations for beauty. It reminded me a little bit of BioShock and like Dr. Steinman's character in that game. The scare actors sold the hell out of the scare zone and I loved walking through it and seeing all of the awesome set pieces and music, not to mention that fabulous fashion show on the runway. One of the best scare zones, not just this year, but for Horror Nights itself in my opinion. and I honestly would love to see this turn into a house at some point. Maybe for 30, maybe next year. You're just hoping. Would love to see that. Now I know what you're thinking.
You fucking freak! You're a freak!
But I swear I'm not a creep. I'm just a huge fan of Rob Zombie's music and aesthetic, and Rob Zombie's Hellbilly Deluxe Scare Zone absolutely nailed this. The blasting music was perfect for Horror Nights, and I love seeing this music come to life. The big set characters were amazing, with the Living Dead girl being the highlight for me. And definitely another great aspect was all the photo opportunities. I mean, you had the Dracula, you had the sarcophagus that you could just get into like this, and the zombie throne that was just awesome to sit on. And I know I have to get into it because somebody's going to say something. The dancers really did make it a great zone. It added this sort of like twisted, sexy, like Mad Max party vibe to it, and I thought that was a lot of fun. I had an absolute amazing time in this scare zone, and I honestly still laugh about little kids walking through that zone with their parents, because I did see a lot of kids this year and their parents were so uncomfortable, and I thought that was hilarious. Well, there are my rankings for the scare zones for Halloween Horror Nights 29. I had a blast at the scare zones this year, and it made walking through the parks a lot of fun. Some of the zones I did find a little bit bare bones and a little bit rushed, but otherwise I feel like they did a pretty good job with the zones this year. Guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. Just want to know, what are your thoughts on the scare zones this year? Leave your opinions and rankings down in the comments below, and I'll talk to you all later. Keep it spooky.